Prime Business with me, Pius Kojo Baka. To our very first story, Economist Dr. Thuy Champong is asking government to reconsider its negotiation stance with China in its quest of debt restructuring. His comment comes on the back of a new U.S. report warning that Ghana could struggle in getting its debts with China restructured as it pegs loan granted after HIPC completion at more than $30 billion. Now, reacting to this development, Economist Dr. Thuy Champong said the uncertainty could have dire consequences on the economy.
The Chinese always negotiate hard, and I think Ghana would have to come down a little bit on some of the things that we're also asking for. If you look at some of the recent market statements, we were pushing for 30 to 40% or so haircut on the commercial side, and I suspect a similar thing with the bilateral creditors. We may have to come down a little bit. Zambia's one was around 18-20%, and that probably could be a basis for negotiation and concluding of the deal before the end of the year. Because the point really for me is that the more uncertainty that we have, the more this ends up, hurting the economy, especially as we get into early next year with the traditional pressures that you see on your exchange rate. So it would be good if this was concluded by the end of this year, and then going into next year, citizens, investors, everyone is pretty clear that the second tranche of the money from the IMF is coming, and then going forward, the whole structural reform and policy credibility agenda is still on course. You wouldn't want the worst case outcome, which is that uncertainty now begins to lead to further speculation on the currency, and it even affects other macroeconomic variables. So I am pretty confident and sure, and I am aware that this would also be at the back of the minds of the people negotiating for Ghana, that there's an imperative to conclude this deal before the end of the year or early next year, because that gives, it's a positive market boosting signal or confidence.
Now, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, is asking commercial banks to be heavy on cybersecurity to safeguard the operations from any cyber attacks. According to the governor, cyber attacks have been a threat to the financial sector for some time now, hence the need for a swift intervention to counter the menace. He was speaking at the launch of the GCB Bank PLC recorded mobile app.
The GCB recoded banking application delivers superior customer experience through its superbly enhanced features and great benefit. The enhanced GCB mobile app replaces the current one and comes with more exciting features. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, reiterated the central bank's commitment to provide a good regulatory environment.
Currently, the most unbanked and undeserved or underserved segments of our population have experienced some form of formal fund transfers and payments made possible through mobile technology. Thus, with the use of such innovative payment platforms and services, banks can provide safe, easy, and cheaper financial services for the unbanked and the underbanked in society. But ladies and gentlemen, in all these technologies is the presence of cyber and information technology risks, which, if not adequately managed, could outweigh all the benefits that technological advancements present to the industry. Cyber risks, including cyber attacks and data breaches, are prevalent, and customers who use such digitized products are also increasingly wary of fraudsters and scammers. To this end, banks must improve on their cybersecurity infrastructure to enhance resilience against such cyber attacks.
Managing Director for GCB Bank PLC, John Kofi Adomakun, said the bank remains focused on delivering improved value to its customers.
Private sector, government workers, professionals, it's an amazing app.
Will you say this will put you ahead in the digital space in the banking sector?
Look, going ahead in the
digital bank when it comes to digitalization.
Going ahead in the digital space or leading the digital landscape in Ghana is not only about putting an app in place, okay? And that's why we talk about the investment we are making in our digital infrastructure will all go to complement in making us the leading bank in the digital space. The way we will integrate our digital platforms with other platforms. We're the largest bank in terms of customers, retail customers. We have by far the largest retail customer base. It's how we optimize it.
Anytime, anywhere, today, tomorrow.
The enforcement team of the Ghana Revenue Authority is back on the field with its special compliance and enforcement exercise. This follows failure of some shop owners and businesses to honor their VAT obligations despite several warnings from the authority. Chief Revenue Officer Reverend John Yaobuabeng, who led the team, cautioned businesses to expect more action from them.
The special enforcement exercise was carried out at the Accra South area, where popular merchandise and wholesale shop Oforimati Enterprises was closed down and owner arrested for selective issuance of value-added tax invoice. K-Cran, dealers in iron rods on the Spintex Road were also picked up by the team for not registering for the VAT invoice. Head of the Accra South Area Enforcement and Compliance Team, John Yaobuabeng, has been speaking to journalists after the exercise.
In the first place, by the brisk nature of the activities, they should have own computer-generated invoice where they are using the cash till. They are not using that, and they don't issue the VAT invoice. They do highly selective issuance of tax invoice. Even then, it's a problem. So revenue is highly at risk, and we had no option than to go in, take all their documents, that is the suppliers' invoices. We have also taken their own invoices. We will do the required audit. But as it stands, we are charging them under Section 58 of the VAT Act 870 for non-issuance of VAT invoice.
Yaobuabeng warned businesses to ensure full compliance or face the wrath of the GRA during the festive season.
We know that during this season is a peak activity season for all taxpayers, all traders. And we expect that they will comply. And as you have seen me here, this is only just one area. There are other areas which the officers would also intensify their activities, because during this season we know there are a lot of violations. So it is a warm advice, a kind advice to all taxpayers who have registered that they should issue the tax invoice, because we realize revenue is highly leaking, particularly with VAT.
The Criminal Investigation Department is expected to process the defaulting companies to court as soon as possible.
Trade and Industry Minister Katie Hammond has taken a swipe at critics against the legislative instrument to restrict the importation of selected items. This is coming after the suspension of the LI by government. The Trade Minister described the move by the critics as surprising, saying the move will not create starvation among Ghanaians. He explained the policy was not to take undue advantage of businesses, but to build an economy to benefit local firms. He was speaking at the 12th AGI Industry and Quality Awards.
The event, themed promoting local manufacturing and ever-changing business climate, was graced by the president of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Kwesi Humphrey Enyimdake, and other dignitaries. Trade Minister Katie Hammond said Ghana needs a robust economy that will benefit all.
You guys are telling the whole world that Katie Hammond intends to create starvation in the country. I am very much conscious of the fact that we do not have enough production capacity in the country. Our store capacity is not enough. I did not intend to ban. I intended to restrict and in the process encourage local production. I don't think I was doing anything wrong. It would go through Parliament. The economy must be built. We cannot build an economy the way we are doing things. The structures will be put in place, all right. We started our 1D, 1F. We must go through with our import restrictions and local production initiative. I'm not a thief. That's not the reason why I put this bill. It's not meant for anybody to benefit.
Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu urged businesses to comply with regulations to safeguard their operations.
It cannot be overemphasized that Ghana's industrialization drive will only thrive in an environment of integrity, accountability, and ethical conduct. I therefore use this opportunity to seek partnership from the business communities on interventions to address the inordinate weight of land litigation on the ease of doing business in Ghana.
President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Humphrey Enyimdake, called for more effective policies to support industries.
We are all aware, local production is also a catalyst for job creation and economic growth within our economy. By investing in local businesses and manufacturing, we empower our friends, our neighbors, and our family members to build a better livelihood as a robust local economy.
Keda Ghana Ceramics Company Limited was the Industrial Company of the Year.
Now, the Ghana Tourism Authority and the Ghana Heritage Committee have launched the implementation plan of multi-stakeholder heritage strategic framework, which is aimed at protecting and preserving Ghana's heritage resources. According to the chairman of the committee, Professor BoG Governor, the country has not effectively harnessed its cultural heritage, which could contribute to the development of various sectors in the economy.
The multi-stakeholder heritage strategic framework, which will be implemented from 2024 to 2029, seeks to promote effective use of resources in the cultural sector and drive revenue generation. The framework is also intended to streamline policy actions that would help the country increase its benefits from the sector. Chairman of the Technical Committee of the Ghana Heritage Committee, Professor BoG Governor, said more work needs to be done to harness Ghana's cultural heritage.
Cooperation we need from stakeholders. It's for them to work together, for everybody to study the document into detail and then apply aspects that would benefit their various establishments. The framework is not just for the consumption of ministries, departments, and agencies. It's for Ghana at large, because we realize that we have not been harnessing aspects of our culture and heritage, which must be the basis for development planning and action. This is what will give us an identity as a people and also ensure that we protect our sovereignty as a nation.
Former Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Jifa Ablagomashi, called on the Transport Ministry to improve roads leading to tourist sites to increase revenue generation.
We also need to change the narrative of how we approach Parliament. If we continue doing our papers to present to finance, as we have always done, then the dance will always be the same. The last time they were there, I told them, if the rhythm doesn't change, the dance cannot change. So we need to re-strategize and re-engage Parliament so that policymakers will take us seriously and give us the money that we need to do our work. And whilst we're at it, to use this platform to appeal to the Ministry of Roads and Highways, fix the roads to our heritage sites. It will bring you the income that we all need.
And the multi-stakeholder heritage strategic framework is supported and funded by the Ghana Commission for UNESCO.
In more business news, players in the Bitcoin ecosystem have outlined some benefits of the platform to the growth of many African economies. One major benefit is its ability to assist in humanitarian activities across developing countries on the continent. The following report has more.
Speaking at the Day 3 of the African Bitcoin Conference in Accra, lead advisor of digital marketing and innovation at Save the Children, Ettore Rossetti, highlighted how the organization made use of Bitcoin to embark on humanitarian activities.
That is the legacy and history of our founder, Eglantine Jeb, and Save the Children. We also demonstrated her pioneering spirit by being the very first INGO to accept a Bitcoin donation 10 years ago in 2013. And the story was this: on the eve of the American Thanksgiving holiday, I got a phone call, and it was a Bitcoin donor. And she said, I want to donate, and our community wants to donate Bitcoin to Save the Children. Do you accept Bitcoin? And I said, let me get back to you in a couple of hours. So I ran to our legal department. I mean, that's sort of figurative, but I did walk briskly, and I said, is Bitcoin legal in the US? And the lawyer says, well, it's not legal tender, but it's technically intangible property as classified by the IRS. So, well, we take stocks, right? Yes. So we can take Bitcoin, right? Sure. Great.
Sharing some insights on how Bitcoin has been deployed to enhance electricity in East Africa, Eric Hesman shared some stories from Kenya.
We use Bitcoin mining to push electrification to the edges in rural Africa. We do that by partnering with small power producers who are not profitable yet. And we go up and we use the rest of the energy that they're not able to sell to anybody else. So a lot of times what happens is when you have a community that doesn't have power, everybody here has been to the rural villages, right? Not everybody has power, right? So what we do is we go to those same villages, we find a hydro, we find a wind, we find a biomass, we find a geothermal power producer, and we find out that they're only using 20 to 30% of their power. That's what they're selling to everyone. That means there's 70, 80% of their power that's not being utilized. And nobody will utilize it. Because the first thing that somebody does when they get power in the village is what? They put on an LED light bulb and they charge their phone. That doesn't use a lot of energy. So what we do is we take up the rest of that energy, and as more people in the community start using electricity, we turn off our Bitcoin miners. So that the community always comes first for energy usage.
On his part, expert in Bitcoin wallet, Max Guys, narrated how Bitcoin is being deployed to build hardware in the mining sector to create jobs.
We have developed chips at Block for the payment terminals that we make in one part of our business over many years. We've developed hardware systems in the payment terminals business that we run, and we've also developed software extensively in a lot of applications, some of which you guys are familiar with, like Cash App. And we're really excited to bring expertise in all of those technical domains to make another option for people who need mining hardware. In addition, we're really excited about applications like what Gridless is doing, and a handful of other applications that we'll get to in a minute that right now are really not well served by these two really large companies that make the miners.
Now, New Age Agric Solutions Limited has commenced a journey to create 145,000 dignified jobs for youth, women, and persons with disability, with women constituting 70% of it. This is being done through the Harnessing Agricultural Productivity and Prosperity for Youth program, a co-created consortium-managed project in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation. The company has already met with farmers of the Tono Irrigation Scheme to brainstorm on how the project will help improve their productivity. There is more in the following reports.
New Age Agric Solutions Limited, the CIMG Agric Company of the Year 2022, is set to create 145,000 jobs through the Harnessing Agricultural Productivity and Prosperity for Youth program. This will be done through the provision of 18,000 hectares of irrigated and rain-fed land for use by youth, especially women, over a 4-year period. According to the company, these youth will continue to have access to the lands for farming and be integrated into the network of farmers connected to New Age. Eugene Zoe is a project coordinator of the company in charge of rice.
Currently, we are looking at increasing our production to 600 hectares coming next year, January next year, because of the Happy project that we are going to embark with. We are looking at the end of the project, we are looking to do 40,000 hectares of farmland.
He says New Age, through its project Chikaba, already support farmers with input to boost production.
New Age Chikaba, what we do is we support farmers by giving them the entire input for the production, which comes with the seed, certified seed as one that we give to them. We also try to give them crop protection, that is the insecticide, and that of the fungicide, crop nutrient, that's the fertilizer, and also provide extension services to the farmers. What we are also looking at is to train the farmers. So training will also be part of the project that we have to do, to train the farmers so that they can be able to use the input and use it well and then get the best yield that they look for.
Eugene Zoe explains the target of this happy project.
So our main focus is to make sure the farmer is able to increase his yield, his or her yields from the 3.5 and then the 4 tons that they are making to 5.5 and 6.5 tons. That's what we are looking at. And this, the main target is also to see to the youth and that of the women. Our target is to make sure that the youth and then the women will cover about 70% of the youth and the women based on our production that we are going to do, so that we can be able to at least increase the livelihood of the people, the rice farmers and the people of Nabrongo.
Dr. Benedict Bonaventure Aligipam, the managing director of the irrigation company of Upper Region Limited, says the new Age Happy project will be a lifeline to the already suffering scheme.
They come with credit inputs and then they take the paddy agreed with the price of with the farmer. So new Age is now coming in to come and increase the scope of their model. So now coming in for about 400 to 600 hectares of land, and they want to see whether they can give more inputs to be able to offtake the rice. We have already signed an MOU with them. That's very perfect. We have been working all this time. Very soon we're going to sit down and draw the plan of activities in getting into the dry season and the wet season coming next year.
Some of the farmers said New Age has already started extending a helping hand to them.
They've actually came to help us about this season should be the third season here now. It is a good package for us to help farmers. So we are getting good yields out of early fertilizer that they normally give us. So we get a good yield out of it. And it's really helping us a lot.
The New Age help us with fertilizer. Because when the fertilizer came, they give us fine, good fertilizer. That fertilizer too, if you apply for the rice, the rice are just tiller. But the rice will not make green, but the tiller is there. So we are praying that next time they should help us and bring that fertilizer and then put our rice.
The primary goal of the Happy program is to catalyze transformative investment in the entire agric value chains with overarching objectives of boosting production volumes, curbing import, and strategically fostering employment opportunities targeting youth, women, and people with disabilities.
And that's all for Prime Business. I am Pius Kojo Baka. For more stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I leave you with international business.